Hi everyone. It's so lovely to see your faces, but also feel free to, if at any point you want to turn off the video, come in and out, that's totally fine. Same with any of the postures. If anything feels like just not right today, anything feels a bit sharp or takes away your breath or you prefer not to, just come out of it. Feel free to dip into the bits that you like and skip the bits that don't feel as resonant with you today. So today's session is going to be a mixture of a bit of yoga, a bit of movement, and the second part is going to be a sound bath. So you can see behind me I've got the gongs, I've got some lovely chimes here. And in the second part, I'll let you know if you have earphones handy. It's quite nice to put them in your ears for the second part, and we'll get really comfortable for that when we're listening. So the idea behind a sound bath is the sound, the vibration of it, the feeling of it, the emotion of it it can really make us feel so much calmer. So tuning into the senses is a way to really calm our nervous systems and calm our parasympathetic nervous system. It's also a way that we can access a little bit of a meditative state, but I know for myself, quiet is like, it can feel so loud sometimes, it can feel a little bit much. So, listening to sounds is quite a nice thing for your brain to sort of hang on and chew over, and then just softly allow you to sort of zone out, and as you do that you can tune in. So we're going to start in a comfortable position. So I'm sitting on the floor, I've got a couple of pillows, so I'm going to put them underneath to kind of sit up on the pillows in a cross-legged position. But if that doesn't feel right for you and you prefer to sit on the edge of the sofa or sit up a bit higher, that's totally fine. So it's just coming into a position where you feel like your spine can get nice and long. So feeling that bit of support. And then from here, we're going to close your eyes. And we're going to start by listening to the sounds that are around you now. So we're going to start by trying to find the sound that is the furthest away from you. So with this process today, with this tuning in, we're kind of accepting it all, right? So there might be noise outside the house, there might be sounds from the other room, and just taking this time to really feel out this sound landscape right here, right now, with the sounds you expect and the sounds that you don't. So I know for myself, I can hear a couple of workmen, a couple of houses over. You can hear a car radio from a couple of streets away. So tuning in to whatever sounds are near you, or far away. See if you can really listen to them. And then see if you can hear a sound that's inside your room. And then seeing if you can hear your own breath. And you can make your breath a little bit louder so that you can hear it. And taking a big breath in here. And opening your mouth and making a soft sigh out. And just notice on your exhale if anything softened around your shoulders, around your eyes, around your jaw. And then take another deep breath in, filling up with air. Opening your mouth and letting it out. And softly returning to your regular breath. And squeezing your shoulders up towards your ears. Take a big breath in, hold them up towards your ears, and then as you exhale, let your shoulders flop down as your breath comes out. So inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, flopping them down. One more of these. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, bringing it down. And then taking your hands and bringing them behind your head into a clasp. And you're just going to imagine that you're on a hammock here. So you're just relaxing your head back into your hands. And if it feels nice to lift your chest a little bit higher, as if it wanted to look up towards these blue skies above us now, these blue windy skies. Being up here, inhale here. And then exhale, bring your elbows in and round just through your neck and upper back. So inhale, lifting up, and heart comes forward. And then exhale, rounding, just tuning into your breath here. So everything that we do, we want to be able to breathe through it, or make it a little bit easier so that we can. And then gently coming up, release your hands down. We're going to change the cross of your legs if your legs were crossed. So we're coming to the weird side. It always feels a little bit different on the other side. And take one hand to your shoulder, and then starting with a circle here. And then I'm not sure if I mentioned at the beginning, but my partner, Lauren, is going to come in and do the sound bath halfway through. So if you see another face, that's who it is. She's a musician. So it's quite handy having all these instruments in the house. And then gently bring that hand out, coming to this side. You're going to slowly do a circle and accommodating. So our bodies are all so different. And then what's going on with our bodies makes them even more different. And then they change from day to day. I know last night was a hot night. And for a lot of us with hot flushes, makes those evenings even hotter. So just acknowledging how we slept, how we feel, just making the circles adapt to what we need today. Last one here. And then we're going to bring both hands up to the shoulders if that feels nice. We're going to bring the shoulders up and then resting them as if they're trying to lift up towards the ceiling. Yeah. So we're holding it here and breathing. And then we're going to start to bring them back as if your shoulder blades were trying to squeeze a pencil in between them and hold on. So the elbows are going back, shoulder blades squeezing together. And then gently bring your elbows down. And here we're imagining they're weighted. And then softly turning your head to the right. Getting a little length down your neck. Inhale, come through center, and then exhale over to the other side. And keep encouraging your elbows to come down. On your next inhale, come through center, and then do another. I'm going to flow through this one. So we're warming up the shoulders, warming up the neck here. Lovely. And when you finish this one that you're on, we're going to come to a table position. So this is quite nice to have a pillow, depending on your flooring, underneath your knees. So you have an option to put a little padding there, or if you have carpet, if you have a mat, that might feel nice. You might be on the pillow and then decide that you'd prefer not to. So just see how that feels for you today. Your hands are underneath your shoulders and your fingers splayed nice and wide here. And then just lift up one knee and then the other. And then move your hips a little from side to side here. And then maybe make that movement a little bit bigger, maybe getting your shoulders involved so that you're almost moving your spine into a C shape. So just really gentle. And then coming through center, lowering your stomach and starting to lift your chin. And then press down into your hands and round through the back. Keep pressing the floor away and then softly bringing the chest down, lifting the chin here. So this should all feel quite lovely. If it doesn't, then just make it a little bit smaller. So we call this pose cat-cow, and this is cow when your stomach is down. And then the cat is a little bit like a scared Halloween cat. But if you prefer to think of it as a calf kitten, that's always an option. So you can do a smaller movement here. And then bring your toes together. Let your knees come a little bit wider. We're going to bring one or two pillows in front of you. Again, you have the option to change your pillows at any time. And we're coming into a pose called child's pose. So toes are together, knees are wide, and then we're just taking the hands over. And if you've got a longer pillow here, you can rest your forehead on the pillow, or you might rest your chin. You might hug the pillows, you might have your hands outstretched. So just seeing how it feels for you today. And this is a pose that you can come into at any time. So whatever we're doing, this is always available to you. And just starting to tune into your breath here. So my door just opened, so I'm just going to close it there. There we go. And seeing if you can send your breath into your hips. So from child's pose, we're sending the breath down and into the hips. And let it out of your mouth. Inhale, feeling it go down and into the hips. And listening to your breath as it comes out. Softly walk your hands back towards you. Take your pillows out to the side. And from here, taking your time, coming up into a gentle forward fold. So you might come up, you might use a sofa or something beside you or a wall to come up. And then gently find yourself in a forward fold. It's quite nice to have the knees bent and the hands somewhere on the legs. So even if the floor is there, just give it a whirl. Taking your hands to your legs and just see how much you can relax your head here. So letting your head get heavy, your shoulders soften. And we're going to keep that breath of breathing up and into the hips. So seeing if when you breathe in, you can feel the air go in, expand into the stomach and reach all the way up into the hips. And then once again, exhale it out of the mouth,
Let your head soften a little bit more, your jaw soften. And then take your hands and bring them to your thighs or your shins. And lengthen through your spine here. And then bend your knees and fold in again. Just see if it goes a little bit deeper. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. See how your body is today. One more of these. Walk your hands up, lengthening your spine. And then exhale, folding forward. And just notice if this one feels different to the first. And then rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae here. So walk the hands up the body. And your head is the very last thing to come up. I'm going to switch my angle here. There we are. Lovely. And then roll your shoulders up and around and back. Yeah. And then get your elbows involved. They can come up and around and back, and you can get your heart involved. So as you come up, your heart can come forward. Yeah. One more of these. And down. Take your left hand behind your back. Have a look at your right hand, and then start to draw a circle up. And then turn your little finger so it goes back and around and down behind you. And it's quite nice to keep looking at your hand as it goes back. So also it's a little upper body twist. And drawing the circle shape of your choice here. And when you finish that one, just relax both hands down by your sides and just see if you can feel a difference between the two shoulders. If one feels a little lighter or fluffier, if one feels a little bit softer and looser, and then gently come to the other side. So this thing of tuning in, so literally we're using sound a little bit later in the practice, but this tuning in starts now as we go to the other side and see what this side needs, see if it's the same, seeing if it's different. And just like tuning in, there isn't a judgment about it. It's just like, oh, it's a little stiff right there. Oh, that's, if I breathe a little bit more, if I slow down, how does that feel? If I make it easier, does my face relax? The last one of these circles here. Coming around and back and down. Come back through center and doing a nice roll here. And take your hands together in a clasp, lift the clasp up over your head and relax your shoulders down. So we're thinking of rooting down through the feet. Sometimes even wiggling your toes can make them get into action. So we're rooting down, feeling the ground underneath us. Feeling our thighs working here. And if they're not working, that's okay. Just imagining, just holding a picture of them activating. And then the shoulders relax. And the quickest way to relax a face is to smile. So thinking of a nice smiley thought here, and maybe raise your wrists a little higher up towards the ceiling. And then taking your arms wide into a cactus arms, and then down by your sides. So that really does get in and around the shoulders here. So inhale, swooping wide, looking up towards your hands, bend your knees. We're going to come back down into your forward fold. So diving down towards the ground here. Let your head and neck soften. And then walk the hands forward. And we're either going to come into a plank position, if that sounds good. So it's like the top of a push-up. I need to re-angle my camera for you to see. Or it's like a push-up with your knees down on the ground. So this one, yeah, lovely. So seeing which one feels best for you, and then softly come all the way down onto the floor. Take your hands and place them underneath your forehead. And breathing into the floor here. So imagining your breath going all the way down into the ground underneath you. You can move your hips a little from side to side. And then softly lifting up. So here, we're going to have the elbows underneath the shoulders. And the hands are splayed just like how they were in table position. And you're going to press down through your fingertips, press down through the tops of your palms, press down through your elbows, and imagine your heart lifting forward here. And if you like, if it feels good, you can bend your knees. So there's a little upper back bend here. Sometimes bending the knees feels good, sometimes it doesn't. Just seeing how this feels today. Taking a big breath in and a big breath out. Softly letting your ear melt over your right shoulder. So getting that little bit of length along the left side of your neck. Then inhale, bring the head back up through center, and exhale it over to the other side. Taking a nice deep breath and seeing if you can hear your breath here. Then roll your head down through center. Let your head get really heavy. Breathing in, filling up, and letting all the air go. Then come all the way down onto your hands. And when you're down, you can take your forehead and roll it over your knuckles, which is actually quite a nice way to give your forehead a little bit of a massage. And some people, like myself, have quite tense muscles around the forehead and around the eyebrows. And some people have nothing, they don't really have very much sensation there at all. So just have a feel to see how yours are doing. So you're just gently letting your knuckles bend slightly and then just rocking your forehead from side to side over them. And if there's one particular spot, just staying there, breathing in and out on that spot. And then switching, so your other hand is on top. And doing the same on the other side. Sometimes with the other knuckle, you can access some other little areas that feel a bit tight. This is, for some of us, a place that we hold a lot of our tension. I know my whole family have quite a lot of frown lines. Even when they're having a great time, they just frown. So it can come from how we're feeling, but it can also be just a propensity. Some muscles are just tighter than others. And then from here, you're going to take your hands by your sides, softly lift up back through table. So knees once again under hips, hands under shoulders. And then take your right hand towards the center where your face would be if it was on the ground, and take your left hand to your lower back if this feels good. And then lengthen through your spine here and maybe turn open towards the left. Seeing how that feels. And then softly coming back. Reset your hands underneath your shoulders, and then take your left hand in through the center. Take your other hand behind your back, lengthening your spine here, and then maybe starting to turn open towards the right. And then gently bring your hands down. Bring your right foot forward to where your right hand is. And taking your time to get there, you can always guide that foot forward. And then bring your hands up to your thigh. And just have a little look down at your ankle and notice if your knee is all the way over or if it's all the way back. And just see if you can get, and you can always do a little shuffle with the foot here, roughly your knee over your ankle. So feeling like you can take your time here. Let your right knee melt back, or right hip melt back and left hip melt forward. And one of the ways to do that is to have your hands on your hip and you're thinking about your hips now looking forward. Yeah, lovely. From here, you can stay in this position. You can decide, sod this and come out. That's totally fine too. See how your body is feeling. And if you like, you can take your hands back up to the back of your head, just like we did in the beginning. And rest your head into your hands. Yeah. And just imagining the bottom half of your body is secure and stable, pressing down into the ground, and the top half of your body is on holiday. Yeah. Big breath in here. And then listen to your breath as you exhale out. Gently bring your hands down towards the floor, tucking your back toes, and then either come back through table or lift your hips up towards the ceiling and coming up into a down dog. So either table or down dog. And just see how that is for you today. Big breath in. And another. Like making even like a noisy exhale out. And then come back down through table and take the left foot forward to where the left hand was. Take a moment to find your base here, your foundation. You can have those back toes back and pointed here. And then gently coming up. Find your hips. So this time left hip coming slightly back, right hip coming slightly forward. And when you feel secure, when it feels nice, lifting your arms up and maybe taking them in a clasp behind your head. And then feel your front foot and your back foot root down into the ground as you start to look up towards the ceiling maybe. And relaxing the face, smiling it out wherever your pose is today, it's perfect. Listening to your breath as you exhale, and then gently come up, gently find your way back down. Bring your foot back, and we're coming back into a comfortable child's pose here. So let's get those cushions and come back down. So another thing to consider along with our changing bodies is also what the temperature is like where we are right now. So noticing the temperature inside of your body, outside in the room. It is a sunny, sticky day today, and that can also affect how we feel and how we feel when we're moving. So if you hear some sounds, that is Lauren coming in. So we are now getting closer to the sound bath portion of our session today. So we're softly going to come up
from our child's pose. And we're going to come into a position where we're laying on our back. And I will show you this position. It's going a little bit tight on space because of this one. But I will show you the position. We're going to have 2 cushions for this, one on each side. So you're going to come down. I'm going to do an angle. With your knees bent, a cushion on each side, soles of your feet together, and then take the cushions and bring them underneath your hips, or rather on the side of your thighs. You can also bring them behind the back of your thighs here, and then you can fold them to sort of squish them so that they're supporting your knees wherever your knees want to fall out to today. If you prefer to do it without any cushions, that is lovely too. If you prefer just to lay down on the floor lengthways without the cushions, that's also an option. So we are going to hold this position for a few minutes now. So just doing any little movements so you can soften in and let your body get heavy. If you have your earphones nearby, this is also a time that you can put your earphones in. With the sound bath, there's nothing that we need to do. We're just letting the sounds literally wash over us. Letting our bodies get heavy. And that's why we want that lovely support, sort of creating a bubble of comfort around us so that our bodies can rest into it. So that it has time to feel the support of the ground. And as it does, the muscles can do a little bit less. Sending a message to the nervous system that the heart doesn't need to go as fast, it can slow down a little. That the breath can now focus on the exhale.
draw your knees up towards each other if they were in that position. And start to extend your legs down along the mat. And take your feet as wide, and if you're on a mat or if you're off a mat, just sort of thinking about creating a star shape here. So the legs are going out at a slight diagonal. And if it feels good, and you can also take a pillow up above you for this, take your arms out into a star, and either they're going to rest along the floor, or when the pillow's back there, you can put it behind the elbow, and so the pillow can support your arms. So we're opening out into this star shape and letting our body be completely held by the ground. If your arms are up over your head, start to maybe put a little wiggle in your fingers. Actually, if your hands are down, still put a little wiggle in your fingers, maybe a little circle with your wrists. And wherever you are, if you want to take a yawn or a stretch or a sigh, and bring your hands down by your sides. Take one of the pillows or two of the pillows and just place them behind your thighs now. So laying back on the floor with the pillow behind your thighs, so it's supporting you as you extend your leg out over them. And then if you have anything else around you that you need to make yourself feel comfortable, you can do that. Sometimes even taking a pillow and resting it on your stomach and giving it a cuddle can be really nice. If you have something that you want to rest over your eyes, this is also a really good time for that. So any little movement that you want to do here, laying down over the floor, over the pillow, covering if you want to, and giving yourself full permission to rest. And once you've made those decisions, what do I need to
to then be able to do nothing. Really sinking into not having to do anything but be. starting to listen for your breath, making it a little bit noisier. So that you can hear it. So we always have that sound of our breath with us. It's one of the most calming sounds, as much as gongs and wind chimes are lovely, but just knowing that you always have that sound inside you. You can access that at any time. And softly putting a little wiggle in your fingers, a little wiggle in your toes. Starting to notice the sounds again around you. If you have your earphones in, you can take them out if you like. And start to notice the sounds in the room. And starting to be aware of your space and your home and what's going on around. Connecting with the fact that you're here with 20-something other shinies in this sound bath experience. And as you do that, maybe put a circle in your wrists and with your ankles. If you like, you can stretch up and take a sigh or a yawn. And then slowly bring your arms down, bring your knees up in towards you. You can do a little rock from side to side with your knees if that feels good. And if you're lying on the floor, just roll to one side. Take your arm up so your upper arm is like a pillow for your head. That's if you're on the floor. And just take a moment on your side. It can be really nice with your knees up. You can have a little round in your back. And then gently come up to a comfortable seat of your choice. So it might be sitting on a couple of cushions, it might be sitting on the edge of the sofa, just seeing. And then once you're there, just closing your eyes. And taking this moment to see how you're feeling now. Seeing how you feel after the movement, after the stillness, after listening and taking that time with your sense of hearing today. And being aware of that breath as it moves in and moves out. Noticing what moves as the air comes in and what softens as the air comes out. And then if you like, you can bring your hands to your heart center. And sometimes I think of this as a bit like, if you look down, it's a bit like an infinity circle with your hands connecting to your chest. And almost if you imagine the energy coming down and around through your hands, across your chest, around and through your other hand. This can be a position where you feel connected. And from here, we'll say namaste. And I hope that you have a lovely rest of your Friday, a lovely weekend, 3-day weekend, and a fabulous half term if that affects your life.